it's Dan back with another book review, and I literally just this morning finished book 2 in the Nocturnal series, Nocturnal Form by Villimey Mist. Now, I have to first off start out by saying that I was not aware until I read the acknowledgments at the end of this book that Nocturnal Blood was originally supposed to be a standalone. And then someone had advised the author to carry on and to keep writing these characters as a series. And I'm so glad that they did because, guys, this is... If you enjoyed the first book, you're definitely going to enjoy the second book. Now, we got the character of Leah Walker, which I have to say, I'm really invested in this character of Leah Walker. I find her so interesting. As I mentioned in my review of book 1, I really enjoyed that she was not your typical character, that she had little quirks that made her different than the typical, like, average type of heroine. She's not your typical heroine, you know, not someone you would expect to be someone who would be out saving people's lives and stuff like that and fighting vampires. So I really invested in this character. I think she's really interesting. I really enjoy reading her adventures. I think this one ended way too... It felt like it ended so fast and too soon. I wanted more, definitely. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to book 3, but I definitely am psyched to read book 3 after reading this one. But yeah, like I had mentioned, she seems like a very unlikely kind of heroine. Her little brother Nathan decides to go on a school field trip. He goes to Amsterdam. Things happen, and he disappears. That's all I can say is he disappears. Along with her parents, she's panicking. She feels like it's all her fault because she, of course, in book 1, she had disappeared from her family to go on a road trip with Sophie. And there's certain things, if you have not yet read book 1, there's certain things I can't spoil. So, but yeah, she goes out of her way to try to track down her brother because she wants to make things right, because she does feel like it is kind of her fault. It makes for an interesting story, and then the fact that we've got these two vampires, we got Kenji and Grigori, and that kind of, this whole dynamic of her being just a human with no real, like, loyalties to the vampires besides through Sophie. And yeah, so, like, it's kind of interesting. I'm going to be doing an author interview with Villimey Mist, and it's probably going to be live streamed the day that I release this review video. So I'm probably going to release this after I do the interview with her. But one of the questions I really want to ask her is, has she been to Amsterdam? Because I really want to know. I mean, it felt like she placed you really there, like, kind of in... It felt like you were really there. And that's one of the things I think she's very good at, doing character developments and creating characters and places and stuff that feel real. I really thought that's one of the things that helped me stay invested in the book, was because the way she writes the characters, you know, you really care about them. You're really wondering what's going on with them. But yeah, there's, yet again, in book 2, they run into some more vampire hunters. There was a twist going on with this. I can't say what the twist was, but I did not see the twist coming. The very ending of this, I will admit, I did see the ending of this coming. And as a matter of fact, I was surprised that did not happen in the end of book 1. Because I thought that was going to happen at the end of book 1. But I'm not going to say I was surprised when it happened at the end of book 2. And I'm not going to say what that was. But there was one little twist I did not see coming. I mean, I kind of had a feeling. I'm like, yeah, you really shouldn't trust that person. Because I know from reading Villimey's first book, I kind of had a feeling of the way she sets things up. I kind of had a feeling that was coming, and I had a feeling that person was not to be trusted. I kind of just had my little feelings about that. But, like I said, this kind of this kind of was really fast-paced, action-packed. There were not very many slow parts. I do wish... I gave this a 4 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. I feel like maybe some of the developing story could have been fleshed out a little bit more. If the European faction, like the whole, like, their setup and what their differences were between them and North America, if there would have been a little more of an explanation of that and to give us a little more of a glimpse into how different they are, and the one villain character, if they could have gave a little more background on her, and maybe had her in some more scenes to kind of get a more feel for what they were up against, and I felt like it was lacking that, and I felt like the ending was kind of rushed. I felt like it did end way too soon. It was way too fast. For instance, there was one scene when she finally reached her brother, and it seemed just kind of too smooth sailing. And then for it to end just the way it did, I felt like it should have been more epic, because this is kind of like the climax, the end of the book. That's kind of like, this is the whole thing you've been holding your breath waiting for, and it just kind of felt like it went too fast. I felt like that should have been a little more... It should have been more, it should have been a little more power-packed. Like, I felt like it didn't have enough oomph for me. But I did really enjoy this. I did enjoy the ending of this, even though, like I said, I did expect that to happen at the end of book 1. Oh, and another thing I want to point out, this time around, there's illustrations, which the illustrations really made this a much more enjoyable book, if I can find them. Because they're not like every page or even every other page. They're just like, there we go. There is one of the illustrations, and I guess the illustrations are done by Damascus Mintzmeyer, I think his name is. I have yet to read him, but he does... Currently, as of me filming this, he has a collection of short stories that's free on Kindle, if you want to go check that out. You can find it on Twitter, too. There's been links of it, and I don't know how long that's going to be free, so hopefully by the time you see this, the book will still be free, and you can go check that out. But yeah, the illustrations really heightened my enjoyment for this book. I just got book 3 in the mail like a week or two ago, and I'm hoping that one's going to have illustrations in it too. And like I said, I'm kind of psyched to get to book 3 because I'm really enjoying this series. I think that she's doing some good things. She's definitely good at writing vampire stories. I have yet to read any of her shorter fiction, which I do have a couple of books that feature her short fiction. And yeah, I'm excited to see where she's going with this story. Now, I don't know if it's just going to be a trilogy or if it's going to be more books after that. But, you know, like I said, I gave this a 4 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. I really enjoyed it. It's right up there with some of my favorite vampire reads. If you are a vampire fan, definitely check this one out. This is not Twilight by all means. Yeah, for those of you guys in the U.S., I will have a link to Amazon down below. For you international folks, I'm going to see if they can find it on bookshop.org. And, of course, as always, if you can buy me a coffee or two, please do so. I will have my coffee link down below. The coffee link does have a thank you video for those of you who do donate to my coffee link. I do appreciate it, because if it weren't for people buying things through my links and donating to my coffee, this would just not be that worthwhile, because I think a lot of people don't realize, even though we're using the YouTube platform, we're not being paid to do this. So if you can donate or purchase through my links, it's greatly appreciated. If you came here looking for horror book reviews and book recommendations, please hit that subscriber link, and while you're there, hit that notification bell so you're well aware of when I upload again. This has been Dan, Book Nook Noggin. Stay creepy and be good to each other.